Okay, sorry, I'm going to go back again to the stadium this time. We've got Jose Mourinho. Hello, Jose, it's Adam, all the way in Malaysia. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Congratulations on the victory. What does it mean for you and the Tottenham players in your first ever North London derby to get all 3 points?
We need the points. First of all, we need the points. If we want to fight for an European position until the end, we needed the points. Chelsea lost against Sheffield. Everton lost against Wolves. Liverpool drew against Burnley. All these opponents, they won or they got points. It was very important for us to win this match, or the gap is too big. In this moment, we are there, close to them, and let's fight until the end. So, of course, very important result.
Do you feel a statement was made? Because there were a lot of critics in the media and via social media after the last game against Bournemouth. But today, 3 points against the Gunners, who were supposedly in better form heading into this fixture.
You know, people is paid to be critic, so they have to criticize. Maybe today they criticize Arsenal. But to be honest, I don't think it's fair for them to be criticized, because I think they played a big derby, they played a big game. But that's the way it is. So we have to accept that. And Mikel is a young coach, but he's in football for many, many years, and he knows how it is.
All right, thank you very much, Jose. Good luck for the rest of the season.
All right, thank you very much, Jose. Good luck for the rest of the season.
All right, Jose Mourinho there. Not too angry today, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Not too Jose would be a better word. John.
Well, it was interesting for me there. What he said was, you know, they needed the points for European competition. He never said Champions League, did he? So he may just feel as if they might just miss out. Of course, they've got to win their last three and maybe depend on a couple of results to go their way to get top four. Of course, we're not sure this week. We might find out, of course, the Manchester City situation. Will they get a ban? It might go down to 5. It might go down to 5th place. You know, the Champions League, Europa League places might even go down to 8th place. But no, I think he's happy. I think he's happy to have won a big game for him. You know, with the way that Spurs have been playing of late and the season that they've had under him, it's very important for him to win what he would call a big game against Spurs' biggest rivals. They don't come any bigger, although they're not where he wants them to be in the league, of course. But no, I think he's fairly happy.
Gary, what's your take on Mourinho's comments? Not too dour for you?
No, and of course, when you've picked up 3 points in a North London derby, you certainly have to be reasonably upbeat. You know, going back to the point that John has just touched on, you know, Spurs and qualifying for the Champions League. Mourinho said Europe, he didn't mention Champions League. Spurs won't be playing in the Champions League next season. At the moment, I think they're 6 points behind Manchester United. They're 7 points behind Leicester. So that's the teams that are in 5th and 4th place. And both those sides have a game in hand at this moment in time when I'm looking at those coming up, and I think they'll pick up points. So I think even if Spurs win their last 3 games of the season, they won't qualify for the Champions League. It's as simple as that. You know, that gap is now too big. Does Mourinho, would he be happy with playing in the Europa League and the distraction that brings based on the potential reward? I'm not sure. I think in a funny sort of way, Mourinho would quite like next season to not be in European football, to really have a clear run at the Premier League. Of course, he needs to, in my opinion, strengthen at the club. He needs to get a little bit more quality in, but what money is available to do that? I actually think that Mourinho currently has the toughest job he's ever had in professional football.
Toughest job? Toughest job. That's a big statement there, Gary. John, are you in agreement with Gary here? Because let's not forget when he was much younger, before he even joined Chelsea, he won the Champions League. That's what put him on the map.
Yeah, but again, he built a great team, didn't he? You know, Makaleli, and he had good players there, you know, with likes of John Terry, Frank Lampard. These guys, he had great professionals to work with, real Chelsea men in John and Frank. And, you know, listen, it is a very tough job, Spurs, because he's under pressure. He's under pressure. He's under major pressure to deliver. He's come with this reputation of winning trophies in his first couple of seasons. I'm not too sure whether, I go back to the Kane situation, if he wants to win trophies, it's imperative to keep Harry Kane. Absolutely imperative. They try and tie Harry down. We don't know what his feelings are. But no, I would say as well, he's going to finish maybe, you know, I'm not sure where he's going to finish. He's going to finish outside the top 4 or 5 this season. There's pressure on him to deliver Champions League football. There's pressure on him to bring trophies to Spurs. That's why, you know, the special one was appointed by Daniel Levy, you know, and to bring his staff in, and they'll back him as well in the summer. No doubt they'll have to back him because Spurs need players. So I think Gary's got a decent point. You know, this is a massive job for him because he's got this reputation that he's a winner. And he hates losing. He sulks. He goes into a depression. His interviews become, you know, sort
feisty.
of. He comes across as being a little bit arrogant and a little bit, you know, not much time for people because he wants to win. When he's winning, he's flamboyant. He's happy. He's full of questions. When he's losing, it's because he wants to win. And I think Gary makes a great point. I do think it's a massive job for him. And of course, we don't know whether he will get the time. We don't know what Daniel Levy, is he prepared to give him 4 years?
Can I just also ask, for both of you, Arsenal took a very different approach to their new manager earlier this season, which was after Jose. They got someone who's never managed the club in the form of Arteta. He was part of the backroom staff, obviously, over at Manchester City. He's in his late 30s, so obviously still very young. Jose Mourinho has managed at some of the biggest clubs in the entire world. Real Madrid, done that. Manchester United, done that. Chelsea, Inter, Porto. I mean, his CV is obviously fantastic. It's two opposite ends of the spectrum. Who do you think's made the wiser decision in this front, John? Was it Arsenal going with a former player of theirs who's untested? Or was it Daniel Levy who said, you know what? We've had a manager who never won anything, took us as far as he apparently could to the Champions League final. Now we're going to get someone who has won trophies wherever he's gone.
Well, I think Daniel Levy obviously still had massive belief in Jose Mourinho to appoint him and to back him. And I think if you are going to appoint Jose Mourinho as manager, he comes with everything, comes with a package. He brings his staff, he brings his goalkeeping coach, he brings his sports science. He comes with about 10 or 12 staff, by the way. So that is major backing a manager when you bring in someone like Jose Mourinho, who's a proven winner. Someone like Mikel Arteta, I think they've gone with Emery, who did okay, got to the Europa League Cup final, just missed out on the top 4. You may feel that Emery might have got a bit longer, by the way, and did Arsenal jump a little bit early on that one. But they've given Arteta an opportunity. They've gone here and they've said, look, we've been with experience before. We had Arsene Wenger for the best part of 25 years. Do we want to go down that experience route again? Or do we get somebody like Arteta, who's been working very, very closely with Pep Guardiola? Arteta, a former player, knows the blueprint, knows what type of football Arsenal want, the fans want to see Arsenal play. And they've took a risk with Arteta, and I think they will back him. But they took a risk on a young one with no experience of being a number one. Each club have got different owners think differently, and they've both gone down the opposites, really. But we just wait and see which one works.
OK, I got a question for both of you, so I'm going to ask Gary to answer this one first. It comes from Craig, KL Geordie. I presume he's a Newcastle fan. Could you ask John and Gary who they think will be the most successful between Arteta and Mourinho at the current job? So who's going to get the trophies, I think is what he's hinting at. Gary, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, you know, coming into this game, the North London derby, I felt that Arsenal were in a better position than Spurs as far as the impact and the direction of the club under their new manager was concerned. I think Arteta is moving them in the right direction. With regard to Spurs and Mourinho, my feeling was that there's still so much up in the air. There's so much uncertainty. You know, what way is Mourinho looking to go? Is he going to build a Spurs side that is mean and doesn't concede goals and you know, which is traditionally what he's done, or is he going to be a little bit more flamboyant and be a little bit more attack-minded and be a bit more open, but then you concede more goals? I think it's a good question. I think it's an interesting question, and I think we just have to wait and give it a little bit of time. I don't know what you think, John.
Well, again, Gary, I hate to be repeating myself, but I think I've got to go back to what I said about Arsenal defensively. I can't see Arsenal moving forward. I really can't, unless they shore up defensively. Okay, they might not bring 3 new ones in. They'll keep the fullbacks. But certainly for me, I don't think Mustafi, it's not a personal attack on the lad. I don't know the guy. And David Luiz are your answers to be successful, to keep clean sheets week in and week out. I think Jose Mourinho, Vertonghen will leave. I still think Alderweireld is still a top-class defender. He's been able to bring in Sanchez today instead of Vertonghen. And I think Mourinho realises that you win from the back. You win from the back and you keep clean sheets. And you score goals with your talented forward and midfield players with a bit of guile, with a bit of individual brilliance. But you don't win anything if you can't defend. I'm sorry, all good teams, top successful teams have got top-class defenders, unless you're Manchester City, who create 40 chances for their strikers every